Before we start, pay attention. Every time you spot trivia in this video, keep counting. Comment the final number, stay subscribed, and you could win an Amazon gift card this month. Subscribed? Good. Let's go. Lucy is speaking with Richard outside a busy downtown office building. It is daytime, and the sidewalk is crowded. She appears tired and slightly disheveled, as if recovering from a night of partying, but she remains lighthearted. She wants to return home and rest before her classes the next day. Richard, however, insists that she help him before leaving. He asks her to deliver a package inside the building. He explains that he has visited the location several times over the past week and cannot return without attracting suspicion. His behavior raises concerns. Lucy appears carefree and somewhat indifferent, yet she also seems hesitant. Although she wants to leave, there is a sense that she recognizes something may be wrong. Richard continues to pressure her. Eventually, he handcuffs the briefcase to her arm. Lucy becomes visibly distressed and demands that he remove it. Instead, she is forced to enter the building and deliver the briefcase to Mr. Zhang without knowing what it contains.
What the hell are you doing?
I'm sorry.
What the hell are you doing?
I'm so sorry.
Inside the lobby in Taiwan, a language barrier complicates the interaction. She tells the staff that Richard asked her to deliver the package, but hesitates to provide her personal information. When pressed, she gives her name as Lucy. Security guards quickly surround her and take hold of her. As this unfolds, she sees Richard shot outside. Blood splatters across the glass. She panics. She is taken upstairs and seated in a room with armed men. Mr. Zhang, who appears to be in charge, emerges from a nearby room containing several bodies. Lucy notices this. She pleads for her life. A translator is brought in to facilitate communication.
No.
On Mr. Zhang's instruction, she is told to open the briefcase using the code she was given. The room is cleared. Expecting the worst, she opens the case. Inside are 4 large bags of bright blue drugs. A man is brought in to test the substance. He reacts intensely, but does not die. He is then shot. Lucy braces for the same outcome. Instead, Mr. Zhang offers her a job. Before she can respond, she is knocked unconscious. Elsewhere, Professor Norman is delivering a lecture on cerebral capacity. He explains that most humans operate at approximately 10% of their brain's potential. According to his research, only a small number have accessed slightly more. He adds that dolphins function at around 20%, which he associates with their development of sonar communication. He speaks with precision and has devoted his career to this field of study. Lucy regains consciousness with her abdomen bandaged and surgical marks visible. Bloodstained gauze indicates that a procedure has been performed. She realizes she has been turned into a drug mule. She is disoriented. Guards escort her to the lobby, where an English man explains that she and several others have been implanted with drugs and will be sent to different countries. Once they arrive, the drugs will be surgically removed. He warns them that any deviation from their instructions will result in their families being killed. The message is delivered in a direct, procedural manner. The captives are visibly frightened. Lucy struggles to understand what is happening. Mr. Zhang hands her a drink. She consumes it and loses consciousness. Before the captives are transported, they're told that the organization has the names and addresses of each of their families, and that any deviation from instructions will have consequences. At the university, Professor Norman continues his lecture. He explains that humans reproduce to pass accumulated knowledge to the next generation, allowing understanding to expand over time. He describes this transmission of knowledge as a fundamental human drive. When conditions are favorable, he notes, species reproduce to ensure continuity and advancement. Lucy regains consciousness in a concrete room with a man demanding the drugs implanted inside her. She does not fully comprehend the situation and refuses to cooperate. The man assaults her and leaves her alone. During the beating, one of the drug bags ruptures, releasing its contents into her system. The substance begins to spread rapidly. Her nervous system reacts immediately. Neural activity intensifies as her body responds to the sudden stimulus. She experiences severe internal distress. Her perception shifts, and her eyes turn the same shade of blue as the drug. Professor Norman states that no human has reached 20% of total cerebral capacity. He theorizes that at 40%, a person would have complete control over their environment, including the ability to influence matter through telekinesis. He maintains that such levels are not biologically attainable, and that science has no framework to study them. When a student asks what would happen at 100% cerebral access, he responds that he does not know. Lucy remains seated as her cognitive functions accelerate. When the man returns, she responds with precision and efficiency, incapacitating him and others in the room before leaving the building. Outside, her sensory perception expands. She demonstrates the ability to understand multiple languages without prior study. She enters a hospital operating room. After assessing a patient who is not expected to survive, she ends the patient's life and instructs the surgical team to remove the remaining drugs from her abdomen. During the procedure, she calls her mother. She tells her that she can remember everything from her birth onward and that she can perceive space, air, and gravitational forces. She appears aware that her condition is deteriorating. The conversation suggests a farewell. The change in her behavior is evident. Earlier, she had been a student in Taiwan who maintained regular contact with her mother. Now, her cognition and perception have fundamentally altered. When the doctor removes the substance, he immediately identifies it as CPH4. He explains that it is a synthetic version of a hormone naturally produced in pregnant women around the 6th week of gestation. According to him, the hormone provides the fetus with the information and energy required for cellular development and growth. He describes its potency as comparable to an atomic bomb in terms of concentrated energy and informational capacity. He adds that he had heard attempts were being made to recreate it, but was unaware that such efforts had succeeded. Lucy understands that the substance is circulating through her bloodstream and further accelerating her cognitive development. She concludes that she will not survive long under its effects and decides she must fully commit to what it is doing to her. She returns to the high-rise office building where she was held and systematically kills the men inside while searching for Mr. Zhang. She continues through the building, eliminating additional guards. When she confronts Mr. Zhang, she stabs his hands and uses her enhanced abilities to extract from him locations where the remaining drug shipments are being sent. He reacts in pain and anger. From this, she determines that she will need all of the remaining supply in order to reach complete cerebral activation and to transmit what she learns. Although she incapacitates him, she does not kill him. Lucy then returns to her apartment. She gives her roommate brief medical advice and begins researching at an accelerated pace. She studies all published work by Professor Norman. Shortly afterward, the professor receives a call from her. She tells him who she is and describes what has happened. He responds with skepticism. To demonstrate her abilities, she appears simultaneously on his television, phone, and computer screens. He is visibly astonished. Lucy asks what she should do with the knowledge and power she is acquiring. Professor Norman reiterates his view that humanity exists to advance knowledge and pass it on. He advises her to do the same. They arrange to meet. To obtain the remaining drugs, Lucy must travel commercially, as the other couriers were instructed to do. Her face is widely broadcast in the news, but she alters her appearance in order to board a flight undetected. By this point, her cerebral capacity has reached 30%. She contacts a police officer named Pierre and explains the situation, including the identities and locations of the men transporting the drugs. She tells him she will require all of the confiscated substances once they are recovered. Although initially confused, Pierre listens. On the plane, Lucy continues working on her laptop. Her cognitive capacity rises to 40%. As her brain activity intensifies, her body begins to destabilize. She becomes increasingly impatient and physically deteriorates, losing teeth as her physiology struggles to keep pace. Her body enters a severe stress response, as described earlier in the professor's lecture. Her condition escalates to the point where she begins to disintegrate, appearing to merge with her surroundings as her physical form breaks down. Recognizing that she requires more of the substance to stabilize herself, she consumes a large quantity of CPH4 that had previously been removed from her body. The additional dose restores her cohesion. Meanwhile, law enforcement officers locate and capture the remaining couriers. They transport them to a hospital to surgically remove the implanted drugs. Lucy regains full awareness in a hospital room, now at approximately 50% cerebral capacity. She neutralizes the medical staff attempting to restrain her and finds Pierre. She makes clear that she requires his assistance and indicates that she can compel cooperation if necessary. Her demeanor is no longer emotional or reactive. She speaks and acts with detachment, displaying little visible effect. Pierre agrees to help. Together, they proceed to the hospital where the other couriers are undergoing surgery. As they move through the city, they are pursued, leading to a high-speed chase. Lucy concludes that the remaining couriers will likely be killed once the drugs are removed. She interprets intercepted communications across broadcast channels and cellular networks, which indicate that Mr. Zhang and his associates are also searching for the shipments and are intent on finding her. Mr. Zhang's men arrive at the hospital and attempt to retrieve the confiscated drugs. Lucy arrives shortly afterward. By this stage, her cerebral development has advanced to a level that allows her to exert direct control over others. She disarms the attackers, suspends them in midair, and clears a path without physical contact. She secures the recovered drugs. Pierre observes the events in disbelief. Lucy briefly kisses Pierre in what appears to be a gesture of acknowledgement rather than emotion. Despite his confusion, he continues to assist her, recognizing that her objective is not indiscriminate harm. Mr. Zhang tracks Lucy and Pierre as they leave the hospital and follow them to the university campus, where Professor Norman is waiting. Lucy and Pierre enter the university cautiously. Professor Norman has informed several colleagues about Lucy's condition, and they gather to question her. At approximately 60% cerebral capacity, Lucy explains what she currently understands.
Has abilities. Can you give us an example?
Outside the lecture hall, Mr. Zhang and his remaining men engage in a gunfight with police officers who have surrounded the building. The confrontation intensifies, providing Lucy time to proceed. Lucy explains to the professors that humanity condenses vast amounts of knowledge into manageable frameworks because the full scale of information is beyond ordinary comprehension. She compares this limitation to a mountain partially visible above water, with a larger mass concealed beneath the surface. In her case, she indicates that most of the structure is now accessible. She states that time is the only measurable proof of existence, and that without it, existence cannot be defined. To reach complete cerebral access and preserve what she has learned, she requires the remaining supply of CPH-4. When Professor Norman asks how she intends to transmit this knowledge, she explains that she will construct a new form of computer and entrust him with access. At approximately 70% capacity, intravenous lines are connected, and the liquefied CPH-4 is administered. Her cerebral activity increases rapidly to 80%. The fighting outside reaches its peak. As she approaches 90%, her physical form begins to transform into a dark, fluid-like substance that integrates with surrounding electronic systems. Using this medium, she constructs an advanced computational structure. Her perception extends across space and time. She observes earlier periods of human history, prehistoric eras, and ultimately the earliest stages of life. Throughout this process, she remains composed and focused. Inside the room, the physical environment appears to dissolve into a white space as the computer structure completes. The professors watch in astonishment. Mr. Zhang enters, aiming a weapon at Lucy's remaining physical form. As he fires, her body disappears. Her clothing falls to the floor, empty. Mr. Zhang is unable to comprehend what has occurred. Pierre shoots and kills him. A dark, fluid extension forms and places a data device into Professor Norman's hand, containing the totality of Lucy's acquired knowledge. The substance then vanishes. Lucy no longer exists in a conventional physical form. Her consciousness has dispersed beyond a single location. But the main question is, how many trivia did you count? Don't forget to comment.